Hi, and welcome back to DDA on F1, where I talk about F1 and everything in between. Today's video is going to be a recap of the last 2 weeks and the things that I've been thinking about as I've been watching these races. Before I get into those points, I want to thank you guys for the support that you've already given me. I've put out 4 videos by now, and you guys have been watching them and commenting on them and liking them, and we got new subscribers, and I just want to thank you guys for the support you've already shown me. I'd also like to ask you to consider subscribing and liking and commenting on these videos. I encourage communication. I love talking to you guys. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's talk about these crazy races. First of all, wow. Congratulations to Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton for winning the Austrian Grand Prix and the Styrian Grand Prix. The speed that they showed both weekends just was unrelenting. And it's not, I don't know if you're new to the sport or you've been watching the sport for a while, but the performance that Lewis Hamilton specifically put into qualifying was something I've never seen before, really. It's been a while since I've seen something that amazing. 1.2 seconds to second place. He out-qualified the second place driver, a very good driver in wet conditions, Max Verstappen, by 1.2 seconds. Valtteri Bottas coming from 4th to 1st in the Styrian Grand Prix, and in the Austrian Grand Prix leading most of the race and winning it. I mean, that is congratulations to those guys. With the pleasantries out of the way, I want to talk about 5 different things that I picked up from the Austrian and Styrian Grand Prix. Number 1, I am blown away by the level of professionality and work ethic that the Mercedes-AMG F1 team have. They don't have a weakness. I don't think if they had a weakness, it could be argued that it was actually the Austrian Grand Prix. They've retired or not been competitive in the last 2 races there in 2018 and 2019. And for them to come to Austria at a track that really doesn't suit their car, allegedly, and dominate, which is what they did, is an absolute amazing thing to accomplish. On top of that, I want to mention that in the last 6 seasons, Mercedes have clinched the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. And in spite of that, in spite of all that success, in the following season, this season, in the 7th defense of their title, these guys came up with the DAS system. Basically, it's a system that allows to put energy and heat into the front tires, making the cars more suitable to enter corners and more aerodynamic on the straights. Basically, the drivers push and pull on their steering wheel, and it controls the toe-in angle of their front axle. And for a team to win 6 championships in a row and still feel the need to introduce that kind of technology into F1, it just shows you that they're not letting up. The professionality and the work ethic doesn't stop with just the design of the car and the things they've achieved. Lewis Hamilton had a bad weekend last weekend at the Austrian Grand Prix. He was penalized after qualifying, wasn't really happy with the car, battled Alex Albon in the race, and initially I will say that I thought it was Lewis's fault, but after watching the incident over and over and over again, I think I've realized that it was a racing incident, and I think it was a harsh penalty on Lewis. I am not a Lewis fan. In fact, I didn't like Lewis for a very, very long time. But I think I can be objective when it comes to him, and I can say that was an unfair penalty. I think he should not have been penalized for that incident. I don't think Albon used enough of the track and started to try to accomplish too many things too quickly. He wasn't done with the pass on Lewis, and he was already talking about how he had his sights set on Valtteri to try to win the race. He's eager, but I think that was harsh. But just to put that aside, Lewis then spent all of last week talking to his engineers, figuring out where his deficit was, and then came back and absolutely destroyed everybody. I mean, absolutely dominated The qualifying, the race, the practices, everything. Yes, Max had some moments when he was quick, but Max didn't have anything for Lewis. And it's amazing to see that a guy has won 6 titles, over 80 races, has gotten on pole. I mean, I think by now it's in the 70s, or high 60s, early 70s, and he still has the hunger to continue to fight and try to make up as much time as possible to someone. I don't know who, because he's faster than everybody. So yeah, that was the very impressive stuff. Point number 2. Wow, McLaren. I mean, I had a feeling that McLaren was going to really be quick this season, but I didn't see it happening the way it is. And the performances that Lando Norris in particular has been putting in with the team have been outstanding. He just seems to have a knack for making things happen at the end of the race, and he's calm, he's collected during the race, he doesn't make crazy decisions, doesn't try to pass people in the worst of situations, and he isn't reckless, and that's something that is very good to see in a driver of his age. Just the whole team from the top to bottom. Zach Brown, man, I'll be honest with you, as an American, I'm very hard on Americans entering Formula One. And seeing Zach come in, get this team from where it was, slowly but surely make changes, introduce new personnel, introduce new drivers, completely new drivers to the team, and have them excel the way they have, saving them, through who knows what kind of financial managing to get them out of administration or potential administration earlier on this season because of the coronavirus pandemic. For Zach Brown, Andreas Seidel, and the drivers and the entire team to achieve what they're achieving right now is a huge undertaking, and they've done it, and they're starting to really show their true pace, and it's absolutely amazing to see that. Again, I'm not a McLaren fan myself either, but I can be objective, right? I can be objective. So big hats off to Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz. He's had tough situations. The Styrian Grand Prix, his pit stop wasn't the greatest, and he lost a lot of time. Didn't have the pace to keep up with the rest of the midfield, but I've just seen good things from McLaren, and I'm very happy for them. Point number 3. Is Racing Point really that fast though? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but at the making of this video, Renault have already put in a protest to the FIA about the legality of the pink Mercedes, of the Racing Point. Why do I keep calling it the pink Mercedes? Oh wait, because Renault thinks that it's a pink Mercedes. More specifically, last year's Mercedes. And Racing Point have defended themselves, right? They defended themselves? Yeah, they have. Racing Point has defended themselves to the FIA, and they've gotten a clear bill of legality, if you will. But still, teams are starting to see their potential, and they're putting in more complaints about the design of their car. We don't know what's going to come out from it, but Sergio Perez just has magic sauce on long stints. The guy knows how to take care of his tires, and he puts himself in really good positions. Had it not been for that situation with Albon, I believe it was, I think he would have easily finished ahead of Lando. But again, hats off to them to an extent, because whether Racing Point stays legal, we don't know, but it's good to see them joining the midfield battles like they have, and I really enjoy seeing them, those Pepto-Bismol cars, I'll call them, the Pepto-Bismol cars, racing quickly and adding some more spice to F1. Point number 4, I don't know if you guys follow social media accounts that do F1 news, but someone, I don't know who, have been, if you go on Google Maps, here, I'll put it up here. If you go on Google Maps right now and you look at different corners of the track, the Austrian Grand Prix track, it used to be called the A1 ring. I keep wanting to call it that, but I don't think it's called that anymore. The Red Bull ring. If you go to different corners of the Red Bull Ring, people have been renaming the corners according to situations that have happened on those turns, and it's rather humorous. Like, for example, turn 1 right now, if you'll see in this graphic, is called Pray for Ferrari. More on that later. Turn 2, it looks like turn 3 has been renamed Ferrari's Master Plan. Again, more on that later. Russell's Point Hopes. Albon's Podium Chances. Woo! Russell's First Points. Russell's Hopes and Dreams. What else? I saw Perez's P4 position, and my favorite, but you still used them. Oh my gosh. Whoever has been doing that, congratulations. You're the funniest person in the world. I appreciate your humor. And point number 5. I don't ask for a lot. I think that for my team to be competitive last season, not win championships or anything, but competitive, it's the least I could ask for. And some of you know, some of you don't. I'm a Ferrari fan. I've been a Tifosi since 1997. Never, maybe never. Yeah. I think the 1998 Japanese Grand Prix, while depressing and I cried my eyes out, I went to sleep. I was 12 and I was up way past my bedtime. And that had probably had a lot to do with the fact that I was just crushed for the whole winter. But what I'm seeing from Ferrari this year, the Austrian Grand Prix was, well, it was the Austrian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc brought a car that had no business finishing second to that position. And to his credit, he maximized what the car could give him. But the Styrian Grand Prix, I mean, even qualifyings. Like, guys, what is happening? I just cut the camera. I can't. I'll always be a Charles Leclerc fan. I love his style of driving. I don't love what happened at the Styrian Grand Prix. The whole weekend just wasn't there. The grid penalty, the inability to get into Q3. I mean, the car barely made it to Q3 in both qualifying sessions. So rain, dry, snow, explosions. Ferrari isn't competitive right now. I think things will be like this for the rest of the season. It's good to see that Sebastian actually still cares a little bit, but it's bad to see that Sebastian is Sebastianing situations. Like at the Austrian Grand Prix, where he made a mistake that I don't think anybody else in the field would really make. And that says a lot about that situation. Charles Leclerc, totally at fault for his accident with Seb at the Styrian Grand Prix. The team decided to just move on and go to Budapest. I don't really see Ferrari being competitive at Budapest. I actually see them being less competitive there than they were at the Austrian Grand Prix. The problem is pretty simple. Max Verstappen believes, and I think he's right, that now that Ferrari can't really cheat with their engines, they're not competitive in a straight line. And that's very true. I think that Ferrari's very lucky that the next race is at Budapest. It's a track that doesn't really require tons of horsepower, but I still think they're going to struggle. And they're probably going to struggle as much as they did at the Austrian Grand Prix. Budapest rewards cars that have good mechanical grip. Ferrari's lucky that the next race is at Budapest because it's a track that really rewards mechanical grip, doesn't really reward a very powerful engine, because powerful engines don't really have the space required to really show what they can do at Budapest. It's not a lot of long straights. The DRS zone isn't very long, and it's mainly a very tight and twisty track. So hopefully Ferrari's flaws will be more masked at this race, but I don't really have any faith right now in the car whatsoever. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Before I sign off, I just want to encourage you guys to pause this video right here and write me a comment in the comment section. Tell me who your favorite driver is. Tell me what team you support. Tell me how long you've been watching F1. I would love to know more about you guys so that I can make content that better suits the needs that you guys have. So with that, have a good week, and I'll see you at Budapest. Bye.